The U.S. is in the midst of this public health emergency, nearly 4 million confirmed infections, more than 141,000 deaths. I guess my first question is, have you been invited to participate in the White House briefing today?
I'm assuming that I'm not going to.
I think I'm having some audio problems. Dr. Fauci. Okay, Dr. Fauci, can you say that again? Were you invited to the briefing today?
I was not invited up to this point. I'm assuming that I'm not going to be there because it's going to be in just a short while, and I'm still here at the NIH, so I'm assuming it's not going to be there.
The president today insisted that the U.S. is doing great when it comes to handling this virus compared to the rest of the world. I mean, empirically, that's not true. The U.S. is currently, according to official numbers, the global leader in cases, the global leader in deaths. For context, the U.S. has about 4 to 5% of the world's population, 4 to 5% of the world's population, but we have about 25% of the world's COVID-19 deaths. This weekend, President Trump called you an alarmist. I know you don't like to get involved in tit for tats with President Trump, but is the charge fair, do you think? Are you an alarmist?
Well, I mean, people have their opinion about my reaction to things. I consider myself more a realist than an alarmist, but, you know, people do have their opinions other than that. I've always thought of myself as a realist when it comes to this.
Here's the thing that Trump seems to be missing about the coronavirus while calling people like Dr. Fauci alarmists, and that is that, oh right, there is cause for alarm. It doesn't qualify as being alarmist if the thing they're supposedly being alarmist about has already killed 140,000 people. At that point, I'm pretty sure that falls into the category of being a clear and present danger, meaning the people warning about that clear and present danger are realists. The fact that Trump is still out here claiming that those rightfully sounding the alarms in the pandemic sweeping across this country are alarmists underscores the problem we faced with this administration from the beginning, and that is that they refuse to take it seriously. Why? Because acknowledging its gravity conflicts with the White House's agenda of pretending that everything is fine, that Donald Trump fixed America, and that we have to keep it great. Any indication that it's not great would go against his branding, and if you know anything about Trump, branding is all he cares about. So he's not concerned if 140,000 people are dead or if that number doubles or triples. He's only concerned with being able to continue pretending that America is in great shape so that he'll win a second term. It is a wholesale denial of reality, strictly to help himself. And beyond that, actually acknowledging there's a problem would also lead to the inevitable conclusion that Trump's own inaction exacerbated that problem. The fact is that if Trump had bothered to do anything in the beginning of the outbreak, instead of just pretending it would miraculously disappear and politicizing masks, the outbreak would be contained, just like it is in Germany and South Korea and New Zealand and Australia and Canada and throughout most of the world. But instead, Trump never took it seriously, and as a direct result of that, every single day becomes the worst day of the outbreak here. So he can pretend that the whole world is in the same boat and that this was unavoidable, but that is patently untrue. We are singularly failing at containing the pandemic, and the responsibility for that falls on Donald Trump. Also, the fact that Dr. Fauci wasn't invited to speak at Trump's coronavirus press briefing pretty much tells you everything you need to know about how these daily press briefings are going to play out. Although, in Trump's defense, why do you really need the nation's premier epidemiologist when you have a president who can correctly identify an elephant on a cognitive test? The real reason for these briefings is not to relay facts. If it was, we'd obviously hear from someone who's actually an expert. Instead, it's what it always is, a campaign rally. It's a way for Trump to compensate for the fact that he can no longer get his daily dose of adulation, and the guy absolutely needs to brag in front of someone. So he'll host daily press briefings under the guise of coronavirus briefings, where he'll spout off the same tired platitudes we hear every single day. Like, this should have never happened, China should have stopped it, I saved 4 million lives by acting early, and on and on. They're not gonna help the American people, and they're not meant to. They're only meant to help Donald Trump. So if you want accurate information about the virus, if you want facts, if you want the truth, then listen to people like Dr. Fauci, whose priority isn't his own political fortune or his re-election or his ego, it's the well-being of the American people. And don't forget to listen to my podcast, No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, where I'll take a deep dive into the biggest issues of the week and interview major players in the world of politics, like Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, Beto O'Rourke, Eric Swalwell, Katie Porter, and many more. Again, that's No Lie with Brian Tyler Cohen, available anywhere you listen to podcasts.